Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm just trying to wait a few minutes and to let some people connect on and be able to come on our live for today. I'm super excited about our live. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend on this rainy Monday. One of those Mondays that you kind of want to stay in the bed. I'm going to give you guys a few more seconds to kind of chime in. Just a couple things that I want to talk to everyone about today. About credit and about just different things that are going on economically and where we're trying to push ourselves for 2019. I am super excited. I can't even believe that we're actually 60 days away or less to 2019. 2018 has gone all the way away, and we're literally knocking on the door of January 1 of 2019. So I'm going to give you guys a few moments. I have my assistant Khalil helping me today with my Facebook Live. And so, Khalil, do we have anybody that's joined yet?
We do. I think we have 4 already.
All right. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. So I'm not going to hold you guys long today. I just want to give you a couple updates. The first update is that Farrar Financial Group has updated our business page. We have a new business page. We changed it from Coretta Credit Queen to Farrar Financial Group. So after this live is over, if you could just go over and like our page and share our page, we're super excited that we are able to add more things to our business. So we changed our name from Farrar Credit and Financial Services to Farrar Financial Group. And the reason why we did that is because a lot of people think that the only thing we do is credit, but we do so many other things such as taxes and budgeting, financial planning. We help people with retirement, life insurance, health insurance. We do financial education. We do housing education. So there's so many things that we do. And as a result of that, we changed our name. So please go over to Farrar Financial Group and like our page. I'm going to talk about 3 easy ways to improve your credit today. And while I'm doing that, I would like for you to ask me some questions. Khalil's going to read me off the questions if you guys have any. But I want to talk to you about 3 easy ways to improve your credit. People tell me all the time, Miss Coretta, I don't think that my credit is ever going to change. Miss Coretta, I don't know what I need to do. Miss Coretta, what do I do next? And a lot of times people miss the first 3 easy steps of building their credit. So can we talk about that today? All right. The first thing that I want you to do if you're trying to build your credit is order a credit report. That's number 1. A lot of times people come to me and they say, Miss Coretta, my credit is bad. And I say, well, if you don't mind me asking, how do you know that per se? Well, I tried to get a car and I was declined. Or I tried to get a Macy's card and it didn't go through. I tried to get an increase on my, Barclays credit card and they didn't increase my limit. That can be true that your credit may be impacted by that, but sometimes that's not really the reason why your credit is bad. And so if you're judging your credit based off of you being declined off of something, you have a very small perspective of why your credit is where it is. And so to broaden that perspective, you have to order a credit report. That's number 1. Before you know where you want to go, you got to know where you are. So some of you may say to me, and I say this all the time in my seminars, I'm afraid of my credit. And so I ask the question, how can you be afraid of something that you created? Okay, let's go back. How can you be afraid of something that you created? If your credit score is a 500, you had something to do with that. So you can't be afraid of something that you lie the ownership for. So if you want to know what your credit score is, do not look at Credit Karma. Do not look at Credit Karma. And I could go on and on and on for days about that. And I'll have another Facebook Live to talk about Credit Karma. But if you want to know what your credit score is, go to privacyguard.com. Privacyguard, Guard.com. Go to scoresense.com and pull your credit report from a place that gives you all 3 scores, okay? Do we have any questions so far about that? Any questions, Khalil, that's come up?
No.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to make sure we didn't have any questions. If you have any questions along the way, please stop me along the way. And Khalil's going to read off the questions so I can answer them for you. So the first thing you need to do is you need to order a credit report. The second thing that you need to do is you need to pay your bills on time. Woo. So people don't believe that that's the secret to credit repair. I know people don't want to talk about it, but it's very true. If you have a car payment and your car payment is due on September the 30th and you didn't pay it until October the 30th, you got a late. And that late drastically impacted your credit score. Also, if you're trying to be a homeowner, can I get some likes for anybody who's trying to be a homeowner? Just put some likes or some hearts or some thumbs up. But if you're trying to be a homeowner, you have to understand that the loan officer is going to be looking at the lates that you've incurred over the last 12 months. And so if you have a late right now, that 12-month, rolling 12 months, let's say you got a late in October, right? That late is going to be a rolling 12 months till next October of 2019. And a lot of times we have late payments, most of the time, not because we cannot afford to pay the item on time, we're just not disciplined. Most people are just not disciplined. Most people have the money right in their account. You have it right there in your account. You just got paid Friday. It's there, but you just haven't taken the time to pay the bill. So we want to make sure that you put measures in place to pay your bills on time. Some of us have smartphones. They're really smart. A lot of times my phone is smarter than me. Put an alert on your phone. Coretta, don't forget to pay your car payment on September 25th because it's due September 30th. Use those phones, use your emails, use those reminders that you have to remind you of certain things to pay your bills on time. So number 1, order your credit report. Number 2, pay your bills on time. Please pay your bills on time. And number 3, the third thing that I want you to do to improve your credit report is to put a budget in place. Now, I know you guys may be saying, Miss Coretta, this is not a budgeting session. This is a credit session. And I get it. But guess what? Budget and credit go together. Most people that have poor budgeting skills have poor credit. People that have good budgeting skills have good credit. And you want to ask me why? I'm so glad you asked the question why. One of the reasons that happens is because people who pre-plan where their money is going means that they have control over their money and their money does not have control over them. So a lot of times we find ourselves where our money controls us. And when you do a budget, you put yourself in the place of controlling the money. If you don't control your money will get away from you. And if your money gets away from you, it does not do the job that it's assigned to do. When I work every week, my money that I make goes towards certain things. And if I don't make sure that that money goes towards my mortgage, goes towards my car payment, goes towards my savings, goes towards me preparing for home ownership, then I will never meet my goal. Okay? So make sure that your budgeting is in place. That way that your money is not telling you what to do, but you're telling your money what to do. All right, Khalil, do we have any questions from anyone yet?
We did. We had a question. It was...
Who is it from?
From Jay Sutton.
Jay Sutton. Hi, Mr. Jay. How are you? What was his question?
His question was, why stay away from Credit Karma?
Oh my goodness, Jay, that's a good question. Woo. So Jay is a realtor, so I'm going to definitely go into this one for him. I love you, Jay. Thank you for asking that question. Credit Karma, number 1, is not accurate, okay? It gives you a consumer score and not a FICO score, okay? If you look at Credit Karma, most people don't look at it, but I dare you to look at it where your scores are, and it has a little icon that looks like an exclamation point. And if you click on it, it says to you, this is not a FICO score. This is a Vantage 3.0 score, and we follow that model, okay? So a lot of times, Credit Karma, in my experience, I can count on one finger, 2 fingers maybe, how many times Credit Karma has been higher than what the loan officer will pull. Typically speaking, the actual credit score on Credit Karma is higher than what a loan officer will pull, and as a result, people walk away needing an asthma pump. Okay? And I'll tell you what an asthma pump is. An asthma pump is where your Credit Karma score says you're a 680 and your loan officer tells you a 520. You need an asthma pump. Okay? The breath has literally been sucked out of you. Also, Credit Karma only gives you 2 of the credit bureaus. You need to have all the players in the game. You got to have Equifax player number 1, TransUnion player number 2, and Experian player number 3. You have to have all players in the game to kind of know how you're scoring. And so if you're only looking at 2 of the 3, how do you know that that one that's missing is not your middle score? So make sure that when you are searching for a home, when you are putting your credit first, that you're using scoring systems and credit reports that show all 3 credit scores and don't give you a skewed number. So that's what I don't like about Credit Karma. It is free, so you kind of pay for what you get. Jay, I hope that answered it for you. Any other questions we have?
No, not yet, but I have a question for you.
You do? Okay.
Let's see. How about if someone's credit is below 600, what is the first step they take to improve their credit?
Absolutely.
So
So if your score is below 600, and that happens a lot, you guys know that magic number. I would say anywhere between 580 and 640. Some loan officers can do 580, some do 600, some do 620. I tell people to push for 640. That's just a personal thing that I believe in for that. But if your score is below 600, the first thing that you need to do to improve your credit score is to make sure that, number one, all of your bills are being paid on time, and number two, if you have any revolving credit, such as credit cards and things of that nature, that you're paying more than the minimum, that you're keeping those balances below 30%. So that's the main thing that I would say. If you are right at below that 600, like that 580, 590, you're trying to get over into those sixes. If you have credit card balances, pay them down to 30%. I'm really quite sure that that will boost that score really high. Any questions about that, you guys? Facebook land? Okay. No questions? You sure?
Yep, not so far, but I got one more for you.
Awesome.
Let's see. How important is it for credit to impact a person's life?
Oh gosh. I am predicting, Khalil, that credit will be more important than money one day. I've been saying it for a very long time, and I've been seeing it happen. Just to talk about my evolution in the business, when my husband and I first started this business, people only came to us to fix their credit for home ownership. That was it. I want to be in a home, Miss Coretta. I need to get my score up. As of probably the last 24 months to 36 months, we've had an influx of parents coming in to say, hey, I want to send my son to school, and I need to get a student loan or a Parent Plus loan for my child, and my credit is bad. I tried to apply for this job at the bank in this department, and they needed to see my credit, and I was not able to obtain that job. I've seen people lately that have to keep certain licenses that they need to be able to provide a living for their family, and they look at their credit score to determine if they can keep that license. So credit is impacting people in so many ways. I've even had buyers who've had $40,000 and $50,000 available in a savings account or a 401k that they could pull from home ownership, and the loan officer said to them, that's great that you have that money, but we still need X score, for you to be able to qualify for that particular home. So I would say that credit has a lot to do with how we live our life. Something that we don't talk about, Khalil, that's important outside of credit is the quality of life that we have internally. And internally means the peace that you have from having good credit. Not to worry so much about how am I going to make ends meet and how things are going to happen. Just to be able to have a peace of mind that I am just not working every day to pay bills, but I have a certain quality of life. So credit just not only impact jobs and certain things, it actually impacts our ability to be able to live at a certain level of peace. And for me, I can personally say that I'm a different Coretta when I had a 520 credit score, and a Coretta at a 720 credit score is a different Coretta, and I'm able to know that if something comes up, then I'm able to handle it because my credit is okay. If I need to do something, if an emergency comes up, I'm able to handle those things. So I think that credit doesn't just impact the physical, it impacts the internal and the spiritual as well. Like I said, the quality of life that we have and the peace that we have that comes with having good credit. I hope I answered that question for you.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Any other questions that we have out here?
I have one from Kailasha Mims.
Hi, Miss Mims. How are you? What's her question?
It is, what's the first step in discipline?
Oh, discipline. Oh, wow. I'm thinking that you're thinking, Ms. Mills, about discipline to repair your credit. I'm assuming that's where you're going. If you could just give me a thumbs up or just put another note there for Khalil to read. But it takes discipline to do anything. And anything worth having is worth working for. When you are trying to fix your credit, I think the main discipline that you need to have is knowing that I did not get bad credit overnight, and it's not going to be fixed overnight. Right? So understanding that there's a process to anything that you want to have, you have to understand that I have to put in the work that's needed to get the desired result. And so a lot of times the discipline comes from just knowing that I may not be where I want to be today, but I know that if I keep putting one foot in front of the other, I'm going to get to eventually my end goal. And that discipline requires us to have a certain level of confidence, and that confidence requires us to have a certain level of determination. And that determination and that confidence allows us to stay disciplined long enough to get the results that we need. Because at the end of the day, when we look at overall, I just want to give you an example. Anybody that's renting, if you look at a person that's renting, if you rented all this year and your rent was $1,000, right? You've paid $12,000 for the year. Well, if you do that times 5, 12,000 times 5, I believe is $60,000, right? We've been disciplined to pay someone else's rent for 5 years and spent $60,000 on someone else's home. And most of the time we pay that because we're not disciplined enough to put ourselves in a box and say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. These are the things I'm going to sacrifice to get to my end goal. So how do you stay disciplined, Ms. Mims? Is putting a goal in front of you that's so big that your why has to be so big that even when you don't want to do it, you still do it because you know that your why is going to get you the desired life, not only that you dream of, but that you deserve.
Give that answer a thumbs up. That was great. That was great. We have one more from Miss Mitchell. Is it best to get rid of department store credits first, like Belt cards and Dillard's cards and stuff like that?
Okay, yes, Miss Mitchell. Hi, how are you? Thank you for that question. I would say, Miss Mitchell, that it's not really best to get rid of one or the other. My rule of thumb is to start with the smallest one first and pay it off. So if your smallest cards happen to be your Macy's, your Belks, your Dillard's, your JCPenney's, then pay those off first. You knock those off because you can get them paid off quicker, and you have something called instant gratification. Like, man, I paid off 4 credit cards today because all of them were below $800 or $500. So I would say if those cards are the lowest amounts, then start with your lowest amount and work your way up to your bigger cards or to your, Discovers, MasterCards, Visas, and things of that nature. Great question.
Good. Any more questions?
Are there any more questions before we get off the live today? I hope that you guys learned something. If you would be so kind just to share this live video on your page. We are going to be doing lives a lot moving forward just to educate. At the end of the year is such a great time to get prepared for next year. Actually, what we do today, statistics show that what we do in the next 60 days will determine what kind of first quarter that we have. And we learned that from a business standpoint. But I want each of you to know that's viewing this live today that you are a business. And if you spend the rest of these 60 days minding your own business, minding your own finances, which is your business, your own credit, which is your business, your bank accounts, which is your business, how you manage and spend money, which is your business, you will realize that January will be the best month that you've ever had, because at the end of the year, you're putting your business first, which is yourself. You are a CEO. You are a CEO. You say, how? You're a CEO of your life. You are the CEO, the Chief Operating Officer of your life. You determine your next step. And a lot of times, you guys, this credit and this finances messes us up. It doesn't matter how educated. It doesn't matter how much money. It doesn't matter the least education. It doesn't matter. You got people making $400,000 or $500,000 a year. And you got people making $20,000 a year. And most people have the same problem. They don't have enough money or enough credit to do what they need to do. And so these lives, we're going to be coming on often, and we're going to just be educating and allowing you to ask questions, question and answers about how we can improve. The next 60 days can be the best 60 days of our life and can start us into a monumental year if we start today. So before we end this live, I want you to know if you have any questions, you can give our office a call at 704-537-6500. We do free phone and in-office consultations. You also can go to our website and look around on there, www.Farrar, that's Farrar, credit services with an S.com. Or you can send us an email at farrarcreditservices@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. And again, before we get off, Khalil, does anybody have any other questions, or are we good? I want to make sure I answered everybody's questions before we got off.
One more really good one.
Well, one more really good question.
Susan L. Lee.
Hi, Miss Lee. Yes.
Is there a change coming to the scoring process to include bank account balances?
I heard something about that, Ms. Lee. That's a great question. I heard that they were going to start doing something like that. It's been talk about it for a while, that they were going to start adding in checking account balances and, what type of relationships people have with checking accounts, or whether they're good or bad, and start placing them on the credit report. I've been hearing about it. It's kind of been a whisper in the air. I do not have any defined concrete information, but I will say probably in the near future, everything that's related to your money and your social and your name will somehow be a part of your credit score somehow. They're already kind of doing it, even though now it's not on the credit report. But if you have a bad bank account with Bank of America, you can't go to Wells Fargo because they'll say, hey, you got to clear it up with Bank of America. So they're already talking already internally a little bit. It hasn't got to the credit report, but it would not shock me, Ms. Lee, if it does. That was an awesome question. And if I ever find out any more information about it, I definitely will make sure to share it via live or on our business page. But that was a super, super great question. But like I said, we are enjoying these lives, and thank each of you for spending some of your lunchtime with me today. I hope you have a great day. And remember, 3 little simple changes could change your credit, but you have to have the discipline, the consistency, and the determination to get it done. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful day.